Class, so today we are going to be looking at NF1, which is adding and subtracting fractions. Alright, so on school nights, Nina is allowed a limited amount of cell phone time. On Monday, she can't have any phone time, and on Friday is weekend privileges. So we're looking at days Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for how much time Nina is able to use on her cell phone during the school week. So on school nights, Nina is only allowed a limited amount of cell phone time on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And she spends less than an hour on her cell phone. And on Monday, she can't have any phone time, and on Friday is weekend privilege. So what is it that we really need to know about Nina and her phone time from this slide? So one thing that you can infer is that even though she has Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night that she can use her cell phone, she can only use it for less than an hour each time. So that means that it's going to be a fraction of an hour without holes. So on school night, Nina is allowed a limited amount of time. So on Tuesday, she can spend 5/12 of an hour, and on Wednesday, and half an hour. And on Thursday, she spends even less than an hour still. So at first, we're looking at 5/12 and 1/2. But we don't have a question, so we don't know exactly what we are looking for. We don't know if we're adding or we're subtracting just yet. But we know that these are our fractions that we're working with. In this section, we finally find out that Nina can spend 5/12 of an hour on Tuesday, and half an hour on Wednesday, and 3/4 of an hour on Thursday. And we want to know how much time can she spend on her cell phone during the school week. So if we're looking at that, we're looking at our total amount of times. So our equation is 5/12 plus 1/2 plus 3/4. So like always, even though this is a 3 add-in problem, like always, I'm going to draw my models for each equation or each fraction. Alright, so like before, when we start drawing our fractions and before we add or subtract, we have to figure out, well, what do we need to do to add the model. And of course, the first thing after drawing our model is change them into equivalent denominators or common denominators. So in this case, I have to look at 3 different denominators: 12s, halves, and fourths. And I know that I can make halves into fourths, but I can't make 12s into fourths. And I also know I can make fourths into 12s, but I can't make fourths into halves. So we're going to look and see, is there anything we can do? And I know that halves can be made into 12s, and I know fourths can be made into 12ths. So that's what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to take these two fractions, the half and the 3/4, and change them into 12ths. So we have our half, and we're going to draw 5 lines across. 1, 2, and that changes into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 12ths. And I'm going to change my 3/4 into 12ths by drawing 2 lines across. And that changes into 9/12. And then this 5/12 stays the same. And like before, we're going to add our fractions together now that they have the same denominators. And then we're going to add our numerators. So 5 plus 6 is 11. And then 11 plus 9, 20. So we have 20/12. Or we can also change that into a mixed fraction, because we talked about taking a whole away. So we can take that whole of 12/12 away, and that becomes 1, and that leaves us with 8 remaining 12ths.